Okay, hello. Today we are going to do some block printing. I picked up some fabric block printing ink and metallic gold. I've got my tray set up. I started to roll out some ink and I ran into some difficulties, so I'm starting again. I'm going to lay out a little bit of ink and take my brayer and start to spread out the ink so that it is even thickness. I think I have a little bit too much. You should hear that sound. Is the sound. Yes, when it's sticky, but not like too, that's the sound. That's the sound that you know you've got your ink at the right thickness or amount of ink on the plate. Again, I might have a little bit too much, but I think for the purpose of this video and for stamping, which is what we're doing, we're not really print making per se, I think it's going to be okay. So I'm going to put my brayer metal side down. You never want to put it down on, probably shouldn't do that. Well, let's see. You never want to put it down on the roller because it'll dent the roller over time. All right, there we go. Maybe, nope. All right, I'm just gonna put it up here. Sorry. Okay. Alrighty. So I'm gonna pause for a second and set up my next thing. Okay, so now I am ready to print on my fabric. I have here layered like a old linen napkin that's stained that I don't mind ruining further, and then some scrap fabric below that to help give this some cushion. You could use like batting or I think anything, maybe a towel, anything that has a little spring to it to help your stamp have the right kind of like bounce to make the right impression. So I'm going to ink up my stamp. It's another one of these beautiful Indian wood block stamps. They're hand carved. They're so pretty. I have a friend who used to go to India a lot for work, and she would bring me back these stamps because I love them, and that was lucky. Okay, so I'm going to take my stamp and just sort of commit, press down, try to make sure I'm pressing even, lift it up. Ah, that's nice. Okay, so I'm gonna try to just go ahead and do like a simple sort of repeat pattern and finish this up. Okay, so let's try this way. Will this work? Probably not. Not as well. Okay, so don't do that. We're going to keep inking the stamp, not using the ink as a stamp pad. Live and learn, live and learn. So there we go with that. And I'm going to finish this strip of fabric here with the same print. I think I need a little more ink on my plate down there. And I'm trying to keep the stamps evenly placed. Oops, I just got ink on that thing. But you should have clean hands. Let's see, let's try again. But like Bob Ross says, right, there's no mistakes, just happy accidents. So maybe, you know, we'll do another kind of print along with the flowers to disguise some of that metallic that we don't want that got up there. And just trying to keep the placement pretty even, but I always say to my students, like, you're a human, not a machine, not a robot. I'm a firm believer in wabi-sabi, which means, you know, the beauty and the imperfection. Part of the, I thoroughly, firmly believe that part of the beauty of handmade objects is that we aren't robots and we do make mistakes, and that's okay. Okay, we'll finish this up. Got just a few more to go. And this ink has an oil base to it, which means you'll need some sort of, I'm going to use like Dawn dish soap, but something that is a little bit stronger than just water to clean up because of the oil base in it. But Dawn dish soap, I'm sure there's other good soap brands out there that would work just the same. All right, we're going to do one more. I like this. And then I think we'll go back maybe with one of the veggies, maybe the celery, I'm not sure. Okay, so ta-da. Okay, so now I've got my first little panel here of like a test print. I think it turned out pretty good. I've never done this before, so, you know. Okay, I'm gonna pause and ink the pad up some more. Okay, so now I'm back with a new piece, a new scrap here of, I don't think I said this before, but I'm using just like a natural colored 100% cotton quilting weight fabric. Again, with the intention of creating some swatches that I'll use next week. Okay, so now I'm going to just sort of start here. The fabric I'm using as a cushion has a little bit of a wrinkle, so I'm going to start here where it's pretty smooth here. And I'm just going to try to use this pepper to create kind of a, looks like an 8. And then I'm going to fill it in with some other stuff, I think. Let's see. I do like the way the ink is not flat, that it's like a little bit irregular. I like that. It's like laying heavier on some spots and less heavy on others. Come over here with my paper towel. It's getting a little bit traveling up the side here, so I'm going to wipe it off the edges of the pepper, which is holding up pretty well, I have to say. It's also always a good idea to have a paper towel handy to get the ink off your fingers, which inevitably you will get. Okay, so I'm stamping. Oops, which way did I go? This way. So I'm gonna move down here. Let's see, do here. I always say that anything can be a pattern if you take your time. You know, repetition and patience goes a long way with, I guess a lot of art processes, but, you know, pattern making, or like printing, I should say, or like textile design. in ceramics, like with whatever surface design you're doing, you know, you don't have to be able to like draw a beautiful, perfect, like nature landscape to create something that's still like visually interesting. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So they kind of look like peanuts. I'm gonna pause and start a next. Okay, so I was just playing around here to see how the stamp worked without the cushion underneath, and it seems like it's doing okay. Another thing I had wanted to try, I had crocheted this little like cap as a thing for a different project, honestly, but I thought, let me see if I put it on top of this bottle and use it as a stamp, what that will do. So in the spirit of playing, don't mind my arm, sorry. I'm gonna kind of ink up this nub in here, and I don't know what this is gonna do, but there's only one way to tell. We're gonna just try it. Oh, not a lot. It's kind of like sponge painting, I guess. Don't think I like it, but that's how we learn. Okay, so another thing I wanted to try was to carve my own stamp using just like a simple rubber eraser. I tested out the tool in the back here, but I left this side intact and just drew some simple lines to follow. I am using the this shape, like the U shape kind of one, so it takes out a fair amount of material. I'm trying to go from the end. Oops. Scoop ahead. And you always obviously want to watch your fingers. This is pretty small. They always tell you to keep your hand, you know, behind you and carve away from yourself, which is important so you don't gouge your hand. Or if you're in class or a classroom, you try to tell the students to not carve towards their neighbor because you don't want to gouge a neighbor either. I'm trying to get these to be as neat as I can. I spaced the lines out about 1/4 of an inch. All right, this is a no-no what I'm doing, but I'm trying to get to the end. Okay, that worked. I'm being careful but naughty at the same time. I just said don't gouge yourself, and I'm using my finger. Sometimes you have to break little rules, but I mean, that's a big rule. Don't gouge yourself. I'm going really slow and I'm stopping when I get to my hand. And then I'm going to turn around and do it the other way. Do the same thing again, breaking rules. I'm going very slow. I'm stopping as soon as I get to my finger. This eraser is kind of sticky. It was in a thing with, I don't know actually what happened to it. It was like a wrapper had come off in the humidity, and now it has like kind of this weird stickiness, which is kind of good at sticking to the table, but if it looks weird, that's why. Anyway, okay, so I'm just about done here. I'm gonna just keep a simple stripe pattern, and there we go. So simple. You could do anything you want. Sometimes people use those square gum erasers. They're really cheap, and teachers love them for making simple stamps. I'm going to try this on my, I'm going to try back in my sketchbook here and just see. Oops, knocking my yoga block. Ooh, I think it's a little precarious here with my setup, but okay. All right, this, I'm going to come over here and do it over here. So I think over here, and I've got my stamp, and off screen I'm just going to stamp it into the ink and kind of run the brayer over it to even it out here. So I stamped it, I'm going to run the brayer over it. Hopefully it takes, and then we'll try maybe right here. Yeah, easy breezy. So that's a simple man-made, obviously much less intricate than the Indian wood blocks, but you know, you can play around with, let's see if that works. Yeah, like getting the stripes interspersed differently, or maybe playing with the direction they go in. Kind of like just playing around here. Yeah, I could see that as like a going all the way across, maybe trying to keep the ink obviously more uniform than it is right here, but I'm gonna try that on the real fabric. Yeah, I don't mind it. I kind of like it where it overlaps. Okay, pause and I'll try on the real thing. So here I am now, another natural colored 100% cotton quilting fabric. I've got my stamp that I just practiced on my sketchbook, and now I'm going to go back and practice, not practice, just kind of go for it on the fabric. I've got my tray with the ink on my lap under the desk here off screen, so you can't see that this time, but I think you can imagine what's happening. So I'm going to ink this up and try to get it as uniform as possible. We'll see how this goes. So I'm going to start here in the upper corner and kind of like unroll this as I go. Oh, there's a little bit of, there we go. Okay. So ta-da. Oh, I like it. Okay. Simple. I'm a fan of simple. Stripes, polka dots. They kind of are always a win for me. I think rather than overlapping, I'm going to keep a small space between and just sort of try to make this an all over print. And I'm inking each time because I want it to be as uniform as I can. I'm leaving about 1/4 inch in between. I don't seem to need the padding here. Hopefully I don't eat my words, but it seems like it's working just fine on the, I think because the stamp has so much give to it, it doesn't need to be on a soft surface. I'm trying to, oh, I like it. Okay, so that's a fun thing to play around with, like cheap and easy way to make your own stamps. I could see that being used in the classroom in all sorts of ways. My first year of teaching, I remember doing this with those square rubber stamps. And yeah, the kids really liked it. I think in general, printmaking is fun because it's kind of like magic and it's such immediate gratification. And just be careful to try to keep the ink off your hands and your hands off the fabric as best you can. I might actually have to pause and go rinse my hands off. I'll be right back. I'm back here. I'm going to keep going and then try to finish up this whole swatch. I said this before, but I feel like it needs to be said as much as you can. When you're printmaking or using a brayer, you always want to make sure you put it down metal side down, not brayer or roller side down. If you put it down on the roller, it'll dent the roller, ruin your thing. You'll never get a good print or surface. So take good care of your brayers. And I'm going to keep going here. If I can figure out how to time lapse, I will do that for this part of the video. Maybe I should just do that now, actually.